All right, everybody, welcome back. We got another amazing show here on Real Estate Uncensored. Matt's got the day off. He is globe-trotting the world on his 1,000-foot yacht. He did not give me or Gene an invite. I don't know why, but
I know why.
Why? God damn it! Tell me why.
Because he's selfish and he doesn't like either of us.
Ugh, what a prick. Thank God he's one of my best
It's a good reason
friends.
not to invite somebody on your yacht, though.
Right? I agree.
It's like nobody's getting on my yacht that I don't like. I mean, that's
Listen,
just
I wouldn't
rule
invite
number
me either. I got news for you.
That's rule number one of yachting.
No douchebags on yachts. Wait a minute. All douchebags own yachts. My bad. Anyways, guys, hey, we got a great show for you today. We got Mr. Robert Ring, the legend, the myth, the man, the lender of lenders. He trains the gods of real estate and loans up in the Fed. He's just back on his private jet from training the Fed on how to run this country because God knows they're fucking it up. But before we get to Robert, I got to get to my Super Bowl co-host, Mr. Evil Bald Ninja Volpe.
Man, I'm happy to be back in the co-pilot seat, even though that's not my normal space, right? You and I have done a couple off-the-cuff videos this week. I've had a little bit of fun with you.
We actually have. We've actually had a lot of fun. It was very enjoyable. We were throwing around some stuff. We're doing hashtag challenge to lead. You've been a champion at that, and I've been trying to follow in your footsteps. You leave a very, very big footprint for me to follow in. And you know that the guy who's doing some really cool shit is our guest today. Robert's been a lender for a number of years. He's a local guy here in the Bay Area with me. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So I want you to stay tuned to the end. But a couple of things we're going to cover. We're going to cover forbearance, different loan changes, what's going on in the marketplace, what Robert is doing to help other real estate agents. We're going to talk about this fun little thing called hops and houses. Oh yes, hops and houses. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Then we're also going to talk about Zoom happy hours. So, Robert, welcome back to the show. You're a victim 3 times over, I do believe, or if not more. So how are you, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you.
Doing well. It sounds like you have, you and I were talking about it. You are going on, 3 minutes of sleep right now?
Yeah, for some reason I couldn't fall asleep until like 3 or 4 in the morning. I think I had like low blood pressure, which is really odd. I took my blood pressure; it was like really low. You can hear your heart beating, So I got up and I ate some pork jerky that's salty, and that got it back up right quick. And then about an hour later, I fell asleep. Isn't that odd? I mean, it is what it is. But I'm not running a lot of sleep right now.
That does it for me. Pork jerky always gets me to go to sleep. I mean, it's my go-to.
Hey, it's an odd solution, but it's like I was like, hey, low blood pressure, sodium. What has sodium? Pork, and I had some pork jerky. So,
well, let's get to some of the stuff we're going to cover today. First off, Gene, I want to hit you up real quickly. What tech tip do you have for us today for all of our viewers and everyone who's hanging out with us today?
Man, you caught me off guard with that one. We haven't done a tech tip in some time.
I know. I want to keep you on your toes.
I like it. No, all right. So this has been the easy one for me. It's less of a tech tip, more of a strategy tip, and that's called the pattern interrupt. That's what we're doing with that challenge to lead. If you go back and watch the video from yesterday where Greg and I were together for a couple minutes about what time is that? Like 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern time? Was it like 2 or 3 your time?
Yeah, it's like 2-ish,
2 o'clock,
give or take. Yeah.
Actually, I want to relay a story to you real quick, but before I do that, jump on your live video and give me 2 minutes of something positive in your life that's going on. Keep it real. Drop it in your feed, and I would be willing to bet you that you will get some live views and you will get some amazing comments, engagement, and interaction. And I know if you stay consistent with that over a regular daily basis, you'll watch that engagement grow. Are you seeing any results and responses from that, Gregory?
I'm not yet, but I have not been that consistent. And, I will definitely try to be more consistent at it in the future. Robert, will you accept the challenge? Will you accept the challenge to lead?
Yes, of course.
Great. All right. Now we got another man to do videos every day, inspiring people as we go. But let's inspire people with some knowledge.
Oh, I didn't understand the question. So the question in accepting the challenge to lead was to do live videos every day?
Yeah. Gene, explain to him real quick what challenge to lead is.
So I was challenged by a friend of mine 31 days ago to offer some positive advice / thoughts / whatever, the stuff that's going on during this coronavirus time. I'm probably going to extend it, even though I took day 31 off. I finished day 30 the other night with my wife. We wrapped it up with an interview, but basically we're just doing a video. Something's going on, something positive, something. I talked about restaurants that were changing their delivery methods, outside of the box business thinking, just little things that are going on a regular basis. And the consistency with which I'm interrupting people's negative pattern habits on social media is getting a lot of attention.
Okay, I can do that. That's a big challenge, but I'll do it.
All right, good. I love this. All right, let's break into this thing. First thing I want to talk about right now, Robert, is something that I think a lot of people are kind of mucking around in their brain a little bit, and that is forbearance. What the fuck is forbearance? Is it a good? Is it bad? Should we suggest it? Should we not? Talk to me, Goose. What is going on?
Yeah, totally. Well, I think first off that we should never suggest or not suggest if people need it. When it comes down to something like forbearance.
And the federal government got him.
Oh,
there it is.
Cut out. Hold on.
Just like that.
And he's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been blacklisted. He's no longer on this planet. Robert Ring of the Ring team is no longer here. But he will be back. So, Gene, as we're waiting for Robert to come on back, let's talk about forbearance a little bit in regards to are you hearing a lot of muttering and sputtering about that? Are you anything floating around with you?
I am, actually. So it's kind of interesting that it's not really forbearance related, but basically I have a client that's also, we produce a podcast for him called Fuel. Mm-hmm. And he's a mortgage guy. He's one of the mortgage guys around here. And we've been talking a lot about, paying your bills, not paying your bills, what the effects are on you, how you're supposed to go about it. Like the big thing is, Robert, welcome back. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Cool. The big thing is that, which I think Robert's going to say, is that forbearance doesn't mean you just stop paying your mortgage and then I'll let you say what it is. Why don't you jump back into, we kind of took a left turn there just to have my thoughts on it, but let's talk to the expert. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, what people have a hard time understanding is that a mortgage is it's a live product. It's a treasury. It's tied to a bond. So basically when you pay your mortgage, you're paying into something that's helping an investor get a yield on a bond. Basically it's delivering a profit on a regular basis. So, and that it's happening. And it's calculated, the interest on that is calculated daily. So even if you took let's say that you paid your mortgage daily, which you don't, and you just took a week off of paying your mortgage, there's 7 days of interest that did not get collected that need to be collected in order to produce the yield so big picture here, it can cause massive problems for the economy. It can cause some problems for you, but small picture is if you need it, you should get it, right? It's there because the government put it forward because if you need it, you should be able to get it, right? You don't want people that can't pay their mortgage, can't get forbearance, and then go into notice of default or foreclosure. So this is like an exit lane for you if you need that. If you don't need it, don't go for it. The problem is right now, it's really easy for people to prove that they need it, maybe when they don't actually need it. I've had people call me that have jobs still that go, hey, I need it. It's like, don't do it unless you really, really need it, right? Because what'll happen is you'll get late reported on your mortgage. They'll be categorized as national emergency declaration lates, national emergency delinquencies is what it's called, something like that. And the code is like 032. So it won't take your credit score, but it'll show missed payment. And that's problematic when you go to do financing of any kind. If you have mortgage, housing, expense related delinquencies. So, it can be explained away. We don't know the total effect it'll have, but if you tried to do a refinance a few months after you did 6 months of forbearance, it would not go through. That would be a big problem. So I'm telling people, don't do it. But if you do it, you really have to be savvy about the post forbearance options to bring the loan current, because like I said, it's a live instrument, right? That the mortgage. So if you miss 6 months of payments, they have to be caught back up on, because the servicer didn't miss 6 months of payments to that investor. Because if they did, then that bond that's a security behind your mortgage, and this sounds really complicated, wouldn't give off the yield. So that would be a bigger problem. So if we back this up a few steps, there's a guy named Mark Calabria who is not doing so well right now. He really needs to change his position on this, but he's the director of FHFA, and he's saying that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are not going to help servicers through this time. So basically, if the servicers don't have enough liquidity, which they won't because there's a liquidity crisis in the market right now, to pay the investors behind these mortgages, then the bonds behind them will not produce the yields. And if the bonds don't produce the yields, bonds will become an incredibly risky investment on the secondary market. And if that happens, rates will go through the roof. So there's an overall question of stability in the mortgage real estate market right now surrounding rates. The Fed stepped in and did their part with a huge bond buying program to keep rates down and keep them stable. Now Mark Calabria needs to step in and use Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to help servicers basically weather the storm through the forbearance period. And if they don't, it could have real problems. Now, the reason he's taking this stand is because he's like a Southern Republican Trump appointee, small government, anti-bailout dude, and he does not want Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to be controlled or any connection to the government any longer. He wants them moved away. So he's been working on it for the last, however many years he's been in office, I don't know, stacking up their reserves. So like Fannie Mae has over 14 billion in reserves and Freddie Mac has over 9 billion in reserves. And so he's thinking, oh, we're going to take this beautiful nest egg of, over 20 billion that we've saved up to try and disconnect from the government. And we're going to use that to bail out servicers. And that might result in us needing to go back to the government saying, hey, we need another handout. And he doesn't want a handout. So he's kind of digging his heels in. And Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, is giving him a little bit of cover right now saying, we don't need, the agencies to step in yet, blah, blah, blah. But it's pretty much inevitable that we will. And so there's either going to be a change of leadership there, or he needs to have a change of heart so that this
doesn't happen or go away.
Yeah.
Question came
totally.
up. Does it hurt your credit to go to do a forbearance?
It hurts your overall credit profile. It doesn't hurt your credit score. So like I said, it'll show as delinquencies. It'll show that you haven't made your mortgage payment, which in some forms of credit that you're applying for could be difficult for you. So it could hurt your ability to get credit. It won't change. It shouldn't change your credit score. I've heard reports from some people that it has, which is why when you call your mortgage servicer, you got to make sure the agreement in writing is really ironclad. It's got to be, make sure they're using the right reporting code for the delinquency, 032, national disaster delinquency. You got to make sure that your post-forbearance options to bring the loan current are doable for you. Make sure there's no balloon payment. That would be pretty aggressive. You'd either want like a repayment plan or like a flex modification or some sort of modification so that your payment doesn't jump up or you don't have one giant payment all at once, because that could put you in hot water in a few months from now.
Yeah, and that's happening too, right? Like if you don't read your forbearance agreement, it's possible if they give you a 6-month forbearance that after the 6 months you're coming up with that payment right then and there.
Yeah, that's correct. And you know what? If you're having a hard time with your mortgage servicing company and they're not giving you any other option than a balloon payment to bring your loan current post forbearance, you can go to cfpb.gov, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, cfpb.gov, and you can file a complaint against your mortgage servicer, and you can explain what's going on and how they won't offer you any other options other than an aggressive balloon payment. And they will probably reply pretty quickly. Mortgage servicers do not like, and banks do not like, the CFPB. They're a huge regulatory agency that can levy massive fines on you for abusive practices. Now, the CFPB might not do anything because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have given them guidance that that the option that they're presenting is okay. But if you tell them that it's not okay and you can't afford it and it's not going to work for you and it's going to cause problems, then they should listen to them and they should turn it around. That could be like one step that you can take to try and force their hand a little bit. They might reply favorably to that. By the way, the CFPB is great too. If you have like credit card lates or mortgage lates or something you need to get corrected and you're having trouble doing it, file a CFPB complaint. Thank you, Greg. File a CFPB complaint. I got a credit card late removed in 24 hours one time, and I got like a dozen student loan lates removed for my client a couple months ago. Her credit was tanked because of it. We got her credit up 100 points in like 3 weeks because I helped her file a CFPB complaint and got all these lates removed from her student loans. So they're a great resource.
Well, let me ask you real quick: were they removed because they were legitimately mistakes, or was she at? I don't want to talk about her, but were you at fault for your late payment and they just went, you know what, we'll forgive it because we don't want the problems?
No, it's a great question. So like if it's a legitimate mistake, like you just were late on your payment, you might have a harder time. She had a good argument, and her the Fed loan servicing company didn't agree with her argument. Basically what had happened is she was supposed to be in forbearance, and then I don't remember all the details, but what had happened is like about 8 months into it, when she realized she wasn't on forbearance, but they told her that she would have been. She called them. They said, "Oh, it's okay. We'll do a retroactive forbearance." So they sent her a letter saying, "Retroactively, we agree to put your loan in forbearance since January 1st," and it was like July. And she said, "Great." So she has this letter from them saying that retroactively she didn't need to be making payments the whole year, which she hadn't. But they reported all these lates, and you know how student loans are split up sometimes. So you might have like $40,000 of student loans, but you'll have like 7 loans. So she had all these lates, 30, 60, 90 rolling lates, and that really is damaging the credit. And so I said, we have this letter here. And so she said, yeah, we tried to go after him, with a lawyer and all this other stuff, and nothing worked. And we disputed it on credit. And, people just need to know those steps just take forever. So just go to the CFPB. We filed the complaint. We uploaded the document. We through the CFPB, you can dispute it with the company and all the credit agencies. So what happened is Experian came back and they said, hey, we agree with your argument. We're going to mark all of these lates as we're going to change the payment rating to no payment rating and we're going to mark it as a forbearance period. And that was all we needed because they were only reporting to 2 of the 3 bureaus. And when Experian changed theirs, then she had 2 really good scores. And lenders, we use the middle score. So you can have a 500, a 700, and an 800. We're going to use the 700. We don't care about the other one. So this totally fixed her credit profile. She went from like the mid 6s to I think like 755.
Wow.
And it was like that. And
we
deal. Have a service. Yeah, we have a software where we can, lenders have software. I don't know about all lenders, but I mean, most of them do, where they can update your credit quickly, if they need to get a score changed because something's wrong or whatever. So anyways, that helped them out a lot.
That is awesome. And that's the thing that a lot of people are not talking about. They hear the word forbearance, but they don't know really what it means. And that even goes along with me. I mean, some of the stuff I'm just kind of like, a forbear what?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? This is why this conversation is important, Greg. I don't mean to jump on your toes there, but
I bet you will.
But I think it's only for a good reason. Okay. Look, there's people. What I'm noticing is that stuff that you guys know maybe isn't known by the general public, and if you don't know what you don't know, it's hard to figure that stuff out. So, like when we talk about people that are suffering through this right now and you can't pay your mortgage, maybe you can't pay your credit cards, maybe you can't pay your car payment. Like, I think there's a misconception. I think people just go, oh, well, then they're just going to come and take my car. When the reality of it is that if you do the right things and call the servicer of your loan on that car or the servicer of your loan on your mortgage, there's a pretty decent chance. Like I always tell people, this in real estate, banks don't want to own real estate, right? They don't really want to take your house back. They want to make, if you think about a $300,000 mortgage over a 30-year period, they're going to make $700,000 in profit from the interest, like, give or take. They don't want to be managing your asset and worrying about if it's falling apart. Like, they don't want your house. So when you call them, a lot of them, like the IRS, will go, you know what? We understand. We want to help you. Let's figure out how we can make this work. But you got to make that phone call, right? Like I hear people saying all the time, like, I'm just going to not pay my mortgage payment. Well, no, that's not how it works. You got to kind of set the expectation and call people.
Mm-hmm. You're totally right. Yeah, lenders, servicers, banks, they do not want to be in the real estate business. It costs them a lot of money to have REO on their books.
So that's a great way to segue into the question I have for you. With the lenders not wanting to get into the loan business, what loan changes have you seen? I'm hearing a lot of the big loans are not going to be able to be done anymore. What else is really going on behind the scenes that us agents are not aware of if we're not doing loans on a daily basis?
Yeah, I would say like 40% of loan programs have evaporated. You've got like the non-QM market is almost completely gone, basically meaning like bank statement loans, low doc, alt doc, all the other loans that you would get outside of your conventional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, jumbo, FHA, VA loans. They're gone. They just evaporated because there's no money in the market. People are not buying them. So they used to be sold into REITs and on Wall Street. Most of these would, and so these Wall Street guys would buy them, but all the guys on Wall Street got margin calls, so they had to sell their assets and kind of pull their money together, and they didn't have money to go buy these alt doc REITs that would give them long term profit. So other changes, a lot of investors have changed their guidelines on FHA, like not wanting low FHA. So unless you're an FHA direct, like we sell directly to Ginnie Mae, who buys FHA, then we don't have any overlays. So like we still don't have any minimum credit score requirement. But if you have a low credit score, it's not cheap. Like it could be like 2-point cost if you have like a 600 FICO. So just know you gotta have a little extra money. But you can overcome that. You can sell a credit, whatever you need to do. But it's not impossible. So that's changed. Jumbo loans are gone. They're just gone. We have like one jumbo lender, and it's Chase, and every single day they are tightening their guidelines. And we have Wells Fargo too, but we used to have like 10 or 20 of them, and now we've got like 3 or 4. and the guidelines are narrow, and the rates are like 0.5% higher than conventional. So they're not that good.
What the hell?
So wait,
Seriously?
So let me stop you there real quick. So let me see if I understand this. So what you're telling me is if I want to buy a $500,000 house or more on a note, I can?
You $500,000 house on a
Like
note?
what's the jumbo loan is what, 462 or whatever?
Oh, well, where you are, you're in New York?
I'm in PA.
You're in PA. I don't know the loan limits out in PA. I know that the nationwide low balance loan limit is 510,600. So if you're above that, you probably fall into a jumbo category unless you're in what's considered a high balance county. In which case you could go up to $765,000 loan limit on a single family home if you're in a high balance county. Like most places in the Bay Area are high balance counties. And then there's other loan limits between there, and you can there's a chart, you can look it up and see. But yeah, if you were above the conventional loan limit, you would have to go for a jumbo loan. And you could get a jumbo loan. Like I think B of A is still doing jumbo loans, but they take like 90 days to do. I mean, they're kind of a mess.
Shit.
Yeah, wow.
Here's one about, so the question on the screen here, I'm getting a lot of questions about a 5 or 10% down program staying or going away on conventional conforming. Robert, what say you?
Yeah, no, I think conventional is staying the same. I mean, we've got all the programs still available from 3% down on up. So I don't see any 5 or 10% going away. I mean, we get updates every day, but most of the conventional updates that we're getting are just updates around how we handle, things in the COVID atmosphere. So like verbal verifications of employment, we have to do them within 1 to 3 days of signing. Things like appraisals, like for FHA, we only need desktop appraisals now on purchases. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are giving a lot of appraisal waivers. They're allowing us to do drive-by appraisals if we actually need an appraisal. So, but I haven't seen anything in regards to tightening of guidelines. That may be because we're direct seller servicers. Investors will put overlays on this because they want to mitigate their risk. They don't want to be giving out loans that they think might go belly up or go into forbearance shortly after they close. If a loan goes into forbearance or default shortly after it closes, you get what's called an EPD, an early payment default. So that results in huge fines to the originating lender. So I think that there will probably be exceptions regarding the forbearance to lenders, but not default. So if somebody loses their job and they're just afraid of what the possibilities are behind that. That's why there's a lot of changes in guidelines, like down payment programs that have evaporated.
Interesting. So what do you see in regards to how are we, everyone's always rah, team everybody, it's very, I like how everyone's coming together, but there's also, I think, a false sense of security in regards to where this market's going. We're all hoping and praying and crossing our toes, eyes and fingers and legs and everything else to get this thing over. We're going to pop out the other end of this thing, unscathed. Where do you see, the real estate industry? Where do you see the mortgage industry ending up at the end of this thing? Well, let's say in reality, we're not going to be coming out of this thing until probably like July. I mean, in all actuality, and then it's still going to be very tenuous. People are not going to be glumping together at 100,000 together to go watch a baseball game. Unfortunately, fuck. I got my tickets for the Giants, and now I can't go to my Gotham club. God damn it! So butthurt about that. But the thing is that like, what are we? Is this our new normal? Is this our reality? Is this the way we're going to be living? I mean, are we not going to do jumbo loans? I mean, what are you guys seeing in the whispering on the mortgage side, and what are you doing to help people mitigate this and work through this? On the agent side, the people you work with.
Yeah, that's a great question. Those are all great questions. The answer is multifaceted. Let's start with the jumbo loan question. So those jumbo loans aren't sold into securities. They aren't packaged into securities by the agencies and sold in the secondary market in the same way that conventional loans are. So they're completely different on the back end. So when liquidity comes back into the market, which it will, there's a lot of different speculations on how the market will recover. Some people say it'll be like a V recovery where we went down, then we're going to shoot back up. I don't think that's the case. So I don't think you should go take all your money and put it in the market right now. I think the recovery period will be 2 to 3 years, because when you have losses that are this great, then when you get through your quarterly earnings reports, I don't think you're going to see like stocks rallying, when you see giant blue chip companies who are losing money. Like that's not going to make stocks go through the roof. And right now you have huge volatility right now. And remember, in this day and age with quantum trading and the way that trading happens, it's a lot different than it happened like, decades ago. the lows are exaggerated and highs are exaggerated. So like the stock market rallied yesterday because there was some promising news that came out about a new, test trial drug. It was helping some people. It's like, that is not real news. Like that's hope. And that's how the market changes on hope. So, huge surge, rallies in the stock market. That's not sustainable. So recovery is really going to take a little bit of time, liquidity to get back into the market. And once it does, these programs will open back up. But it could be 2 to 3 years before you see like a full plethora of products like flooding back into the market. I don't think it's just going to be like, hey, the pandemic's over, now let's turn on all these programs again like that, because the people on the second, these institutional investors are the ones who have to buy them. Institutional investors have institutional investing, licenses. Basically, they're trading upwards of $30 million, usually way more than that. And they're buying, huge amounts at a time. They have to have the money to buy these REITs. You might spend $1 billion in one of these REITs. And if you just got out of a season where you had all your money margin called, I mean, you know how much money you lose when you get a margin call? It's huge. I mean, if you have let's say you have your money with Charles Schwab and you have $1 million in there and it's all invested in the market, and then you have a line of credit against that million, that's your margin loan, and you have, let's say, $800,000 or $700,000 on it. Then let's say that dips below like what you have borrowed, or it's getting close to it. They won't even give you a notification. Like they'll say you have they'll be like, you have 24 hours to pay back your margin loan money, or we're selling your stock. So when you get a margin call, if you don't have the liquidity to pay back your money, which a lot of people didn't, a lot of institutional investors didn't because they didn't expect this, then all of a sudden, boom, they sell your stock and you just took a 40-50% loss on whatever you had overnight. That's huge. That's real money that just evaporated like that. So that's not going to come back quickly. It's going to take time. A number that I think we're going to see today is the GDP. That's going to be a really that's going to be an indication of how bad this really is, because recession, one of the numbers we look at is GDP that can be really low. So back to your question, what's the recovery? Our program's going to come back. Yeah, it's going to be a little while though. It's not going to be quick.
We have a good dear friend, Miss Veronica Jones from Texarkana, Texas. Hello, my dear friend. She's saying she just wants to go have a beer in a bar with people. Robert, don't tell me it will take me many years.
Oh no, that's not. You can have a beer. That's different. Like when people are going to go out, it's going to be sooner. I hear people saying that we're not going to be going out in huge gatherings until there's a vaccine, and I think that's probably true. I think once this subsides, you'll see more people going out. But to have everybody just comfortable going out, going to baseball games, going to concerts, going to big, fest, whatever it is, you've got to have some sort of stop. You got to have a vaccine in place. Otherwise, what's to say it's not going to break out again?
True that, but I am the guy in the supermarket with flip-flops on, no gloves, no mask, just cruising through like I'm heading to the beach for a Friday or for a Saturday afternoon. And I get the dirtiest looks from people that they're all looking at me like, sinner. I'm like, fuck you. I'll do what I want. So with the doom and gloom behind us a little bit, I want to talk about some of the fun things that you're doing to help real estate agents. And one of my favorites is something that you call hops and houses. So walk us through a little bit of what hops and houses is. Yeah, speaking of beers, exactly.
Right.
What are hops and houses?
Well, I love beer, and I have a dear friend, Valerie Kroll, who's a real estate agent in Concord with Keller Williams. And she's very cool. She rescues Dobermans. She's a world record holder for weightlifting. She's got in her 60s, and she has 30 world records for powerlifting. And so we have a lot of fun together, and she loves beer as well. So we kind of rallied around that, and we decided about a year ago, let's do a video series called Hops and Houses, where we go around to different breweries and we drink beer and we talk about the real estate market. So I got all this camera equipment and these lights, which is what I'm using right now. And we go around and we just sit at breweries and we drink beer and we talk about the real estate market. We've done a lot of fun ones. We've done a lot of cool breweries. We've done one in the back of my truck. We backed it up on my lawn. It was like a redneck version. And so we just bullshit. We just talk about real estate and lending, and we drink beer and we talk about the beer we're drinking, and we have a lot of fun. Usually we edit the videos and we make them really cool looking, and they're like 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. But lately we've just been doing Zoom lives for like an hour.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And the reason why I like this idea so much, I mean, as you guys all know, I've been doing beers and calls for a long period of time where I get on, do live cold calls and drink a beer, right? But I like the fact that you're out, Robert. You're out and about. You're hanging out with a real estate agent. You're in the public eye, and you're just having fun. You're being real. And I don't want a lot of us to go into our holes during this pandemic time period in our lives, and just hide under a rock and be like, oh my God, well, everyone, I don't want to get anybody sick, and I can't be out there helping anyone. When in reality, this is when you need to double down, quadruple down on being visible. I mean, really creating a lot of content, you know?
Yeah.
And one of the things I went out and bought myself is $128 out the door is this little bad boy. This is the DJI Mobile Gimbal 3, which the more research I've done on this thing is absolutely 100% worth its money. Has stabilization, story mode, has all kinds of other cool shit you can do with this thing. But the point is that, you know, I bought this little guy so I can go become more visible to my database on a consistent basis. I also have a running list here of 20 show titles that I just filmed 2 of them, and I got 28 more to go of titles so I can become searchable with SEO here in my local area. And so I can go type this stuff in. When people search this stuff on YouTube, I'll pop up. There's a thing called Keywords Anywhere. I've talked about it several times. Excuse me, I'm drinking bubbly water. It's not beer. It's too early for that. But you know, Keywords Anywhere, for $10, you get 100,000 keyword searches, and probably take you at least a year to use them all. But another thing called Tube Buddy, where you can go test headlines and kind of create, you know, YouTube stuff and become much more visible. That's why I love this Hops and Houses. Gene, if you were to do a series, I know you're doing a lot of stuff on video right now. What's something that you would do or you are doing in regards to staying visible for your clients, you know, when everyone's kind of locked in their houses?
So actually, it's funny. A viewer of this show, and I'm not going to screw his name up because I talked to him today on Zoom. But one of the things he was talking about doing was going out when things got better and going out to local restaurants and kind of doing what you were doing a couple months back. Remember when you were going to these restaurants and interviewing the manager?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a big happy hour guy. And I said to him, why wouldn't you start that here? Like, do it on a Zoom meeting. Like, have a glass of wine ready to go. Bring on a local bartender from a local spot or a local chef. Have them show how to make a drink on the air and promote the restaurant for, you know, because they're doing takeout still. So, like, I think right now is a really good, because who's going to say no to that? Everybody's got enough time. Everybody's got enough energy. People are looking for the income, so they're looking for new customers to come. And if you get attention on their business because you have a Zoom going and you're drinking virtually, I think that's a great move.
I just wrote that down. Literally, I wrote that down as something to do. I think that could not get any better. I mean,
right, and you're doing everything you want to do. Like, you're having a drink, you're talking business, you're pushing people towards the business that you like, and you want to stay in business, because when this all lifts, you want to go back and have a beer or a glass of wine there, right? So,
oh God,
you know,
the small things in life. Holy fuck!
That's what I miss. People keep saying to me, like, "What do you miss?" I'm like, "I miss the gym, and I miss being able to go out and have a beer at a restaurant." That's what I want.
Me too.
And chicken wings. Let's not forget chicken wings, people. That's an important facet of human life. Robert, talk to me a little bit about, you know, the interaction and how you guys got going with Hops and Houses. And, you know, have you run across folks, or when you run across folks that have been watching you, you know, is it kind of celebrity kind of, oh my God, dude, I've been watching your Hops and Houses for a while. Like, oh, I love that last beer you had it, blah, blah, blah. And what's been the reaction and interaction you've gotten from the consumers that have viewed it?
Yeah, it's been great. I have had people that I run into that say that they don't know, which is fun. I mean, it's not, we've got like less than 100 people that follow the page, but, you know, Valerie's really popular on her page, and she tags me when we do the live videos. So, like, a lot of people see it and interact, and I've gotten some refinances out of it, some clients out of it. That's nice. It's been an overall positive reaction. You know, it's nice to go to like the real estate meetings and people are like, hey, I love watching your videos. You know, it's you just got to be present, and I like the reaction that we've had so far from that. So we did it just to be fun. I mean, we both like beer, and we're both good friends, and we're funny together. So it's like, well, let's put this on camera.
So can we do, I want to ask a couple questions, right? So number one, you're using Untapped, I would think, right?
Yes, I use Untapped.
Okay, and have you heard of Tavor?
No.
I mean, listen, we're going to talk beer. Let's talk beer. Greg, tell me about Tavor.
Dude, Tavor is my boy. It's right here. It's an app on your phone. Here, let me pull it up real quick. I'll show you guys what Tavor is.
Yeah, it's Tavour. Just
so this is Tavor. It's going to pop up, and it gives you a bunch of different beers that you can Oh man, I gotta sign in. God damn it. Anyways, you go get custom beers from this thing from Tavor, and they will ship a crate of beer to you whenever you order it. And which reminds me, Gene, I gotta reach back out to them and get another crate of beer. I totally haven't done that in so long.
So the one thing that I love about it, Rob, is that what happens is that so they send all the beer they send you is stuff like you typically don't find in the store. So it'll be all throughout the country, and it's always and they do a great job presenting it. They look don't the beers look great? Like every single beer looks amazing. But
Nice.
what they'll let you do is so let's say you start at the first of the month. So today they launch 10 new beers and you see 2 of them that you like. So you buy 2 of each. So you get 2 of the IPAs and 2 of the New England IPAs. They charge you for them right there. So this is both awesome and dangerous. They charge you for them right there, and they put them in your quote unquote crate. At the end of the month, when they ship you everything you bought in the previous month.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So you can get there. Look how great that's. They do a great job presenting it.
Nice. And they make the beer especially for you?
No. So it's all different companies, all breweries from out the country, all over the country. And they just basically,
very cool.
Yeah, they download it. It's really good. We had a podcast. It's been on hold for a little bit, but we had a podcast called Barbells and Brews, and they sponsored it. So they would ship us the crate of beer. We would talk about the stuff we were doing to keep our health in line, and while we were reviewing the beer they sent us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's very cool. I'm going to sign up for that.
It was fun.
I'm going to do this real quick. Can I share screen? I can. Okay. So let's do this, guys. And for you guys, beer lovers, let me know when you guys can see this.
Yeah, it's up there. Yep.
So this is Tavor. And you can go in and you can kind of craft your own what you want. Like they talk about the different types of beers.
Nice.
It's actually really cool. Let's see if I can get a gifts, blog, sell your beer, buy Tavor. You know what? This is totally impromptu, and I'm going to stop this because it's going to look stupid.
Can I chat for a second about an article that I found really impactful recently?
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so I am lucky to have a very good manager who's a huge top producer in the industry and a coach and a leader, and a lot of people look to him. And so he sent everybody in his little circle this article the other day from Renee.
Zellweger.
This guy, I don't remember Renee's last name off the top of my head. I always just see Renee on but creneespeak.com so he's got 10 leadership brands that you don't want. He talks about leadership during this time. And I think it's really important for the people watching, because we're real estate agents, loan officers, people are looking to you, they're looking to what you're posting, and they're looking for leadership, right? Like you mentioned, pattern interrupt. How do we get positive to negative to interrupt the negative that's going, and there's so much negative. And he really broke this down well. He said in the beginning of the article, I'll just do a cliff notes of it. He said, I sat back at the beginning watching what are people saying, what are people posting, how are people leading. And he said, what I found is there's 10 leadership styles that I'm seeing that you don't want to follow. And I'll just briefly go over those.
Interesting.
One is the jester, the comedian. Everything is a joke. It's always a meme. They're never serious. It says you can count on the jester to ensure that you're up to speed on critical events like the Tiger King or reminding us that Epstein didn't kill himself. He posts 87 memes and come out with a futile attempt at inspiration or advice that just seems out of place. It might be great advice, but it feels like you just found a cereal box in the fridge. It doesn't fit, right? Then he goes, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tiger King and Epstein didn't kill himself. I'm like, those are 2 very good topics. But
Right?
did she or did she not feed her husband to the tigers? We don't know.
Well, I don't know, but that song keeps getting stuck in my head. Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. I don't know where that came from. Okay, so then there's Johnny Tone Deaf. He means well, but he doesn't get it. Seems to lack connection to how people are feeling around them and what the general sentiment is. He jokes at the wrong time, tries to inspire when he should listen. Posts from his giant hot tub with the perfect family when he doesn't realize a lot of people don't have these things. Then he goes on to Amy Alarmist, and she's out there, prepare yourself for Armageddon, batten down the hatches. These phrases are often used by Amy Alarmist. We got to know Amy well during Y2K, anthrax, Ebola, bird flu, Zika, and any other crisis we've ever seen. Then there's Andy Apathy. Not much to say here. He just doesn't give a shit. He never will. He never has. All right. But we're talking about leadership styles. Like these people are out there. You're going to see them on your Facebook. But if you're a leader in your community, if you're a real estate agent, or a loan officer, or an insurance agent, you're somebody watching this, people are looking to you. So what you spread is going to have a ripple effect more so than maybe other people that don't have a sphere of influence that are watching them on a regular basis. Then there's care and conspiracy. You know, the government created COVID-19 and Bill Gates is responsible for 5G and they're going to put a chip in my arm. You know,
okay, I volunteer to fall in that category.
Yeah. And then there's Sally Spin. No matter what the news is, she always finds a way to make it political and is passionate about her political arguments. Then there's Pollyanna. Everything will be just fine if we adopt an abundant mindset, you know, and he's like, I'm all for healthy optimism, but when optimism ignores the realities of life, it can be dangerous. And, you know, he's right. And then there's Bobby Selfish. Bobby's prepared. He's got money in the bank. He has a plan for himself and his family, and that's all. You know, he's circled the wagons and is successfully keeping others out. You know, this is a really great time where we can help others. And if you have abundance and you have the ability to help other people, you should totally do it. Don't be Bobby Selfish. And the last one is Arnie Armchair. Arnie is typically found on Monday mornings after Sunday football, telling everyone what they should have done or what the coaches should have done. And so he goes through this whole, you know, personality profile on Arnie, but basically he's never going to tell you what we need to do and what's going to happen in the future. He always is looking back saying, oh, well, they should have done this differently. And if you read the news right now, you see that just nonstop, you know, oh, they didn't do this right. They didn't do this. And it's like, those are 10 leadership styles you want to completely avoid. And his conclusion is really simple. He just says, if you can help somebody, help them. Pay attention to what people post on social media, because we are the media now. We influence people and how they see the world. If your post creates fear, then we have a name for you. If it lacks emotional intelligence, we have a name for you. If it's propaganda, we have a name for you. So he says, take a moment, try to be empathetic. You know, empathy is a great quality in leaders right now. Try to avoid these 10 things. Be balanced in your approach. You know what your narrative is and what it's causing, what effects it's having, and find ways to be helpful and be valuable to people during this time. Because a lot of people are scared out of their minds. You know. No,
that's true. They really are.
And we can help that.
So is that MBS by any chance?
MBS?
Yeah. Barry?
No, that's Renee Rodriguez. So if you go to crenespeak.com, CSEERENE speak.com, it's his blog, and you can see it's one of his most recent articles. And Renee's a great guy to follow. I mean, I get a lot from what he posts, but this was gold. You know, this is really good. He's done a TED Talk, but he's really in touch with, you know, how to help people.
I love that. I mean, I'm all in it for helping folks. I mean, I think that is definitely something that we should, you know, put more time into. And I don't know why it has to take place during a pandemic for people to go like, oh, my fellow man or my fellow woman, you know, next to me or in the trenches or in the foxhole or whatever else, you know, I should really care about you. In actuality, most people give less than one flying fuck about, you know, 99% of the population out there, because, you know, in all actuality, the 4 ways that we see another human being is, you know, well, the 4 different types. And this is why, you know, Starbucks or bars are not like a love fest. Well, bars are sometimes a love fest with everyone kind of come up and talk to each other, is because, you know, the first and dominant response when you see another human being is basically, you have no value to me. And that's why people do not come up and, you know, go and, you know, say hi to each other on the streets all the time, because you bring no value to my life, you know, in our brain. The second one is that you're a foe, or you're something to be feared. You're something that could potentially hurt me. The next one is going to be a friend or someone I can hang out with. And then the last one is a potential sexual partner. And so, you know, with those 4 defaults, number 1 being you bring 0 value to my life, I think that we should shift that a little bit, and on a consistent basis, not just in COVID, not just in anything else in life, but just all the time. You know, how can you walk up to someone and be like, hey, how are you? Good to see you. How can I help you? It's not, you know, a dog eat dog world. It seems to be right now. It seems like we have a little more empathy, and I don't understand. I want to hear Gene and Robert, your guys' thoughts on this, but I mean, why do you think the human being as a whole sometimes just curls up and wants to protect itself and doesn't want to help everyone out unless it's cool to do so? Help me out. Help me understand this one. Gene, go first on this one.
Yeah, you left me hanging out there. Why do we? So wait, Ask me the question again. Why do
people not have empathy towards each other except for in times of panic? Why on a normal 6 weeks ago?
Okay.
If we saw someone walking down the street, you could give them the finger just as much as give them a hug, and we wouldn't think anything about it if they cut you off.
So, all right, let me see if I can spin this where it makes sense. I feel like convenience is what's breeding all the evil in our worlds right now. And what I mean by that is we have access to so much information so quickly that when we don't get it, it angers us, right? But also in that fight is the fact that there's so much information being fed to us, we think we're busier than we are. And in that busyness, I think we become less personal with people in our space. And I find myself doing it. Like, I think this quarantine forced me to slow down, and I realized how much I actually like the other people in my house. And I started to reflect on that a little bit. And what I realized I was doing was I was always in such a fervent hurry that I had no time for these little things that they were trying to get me to do, help with homework, clean the room, whatever it ends up being. And therefore that was annoying. And when I was forced to slow down a little bit and really see what's going on around me, it actually pulled me closer to those people as opposed to fall away from them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And, Robert, what about you?
Yeah. So, I mean, the question, the question is, why do people act the way they do during these times? I mean, one is, I think people are just sheep. It's like if you are in a crowd of people and somebody starts clapping, your subconscious natural reaction to that is to clap as well, even though if you don't have any idea what we're clapping for. You'd be clapping for a Nazi, you don't know what it is. Like, oh, I'm clapping for evil. Oh, sorry, oops, my bad. So it's like, I think people just follow the leader, and it takes it takes a leader. It takes someone to be intentional, Gene, like you mentioned, and do a pattern interrupt and be positive in a time when everybody else is being negative. And the other thing is, we have basic instincts, and it's layered, right? So you have like people talk about your reptilian brain. I forget the 3 ones, but there's a survival instinct in there. And so a lot of times people are thinking often about themselves. Your brain analyzes 3 times per second how it can save your life and ward off threats. So you're constantly thinking about me 3 times a second. That's what is that, like over 200 times a minute. So yeah, to stop all that noise and to go, how can I help other people? You really have to be intentional about it. And to be intentional about it, you have to practice that. And if you don't practice that, you're not going to be that way. So if you follow the herd and you clap when other people clap, and you're not really cognizant of these things, you're going to fall into that, and it's going to be, you're going to be judging other people. You're going to be the alarmist. You're going to be rude. But if you're, like Gene mentioned, positive, optimistic, you're helping people, you're practicing these things, you're developing a discipline that's going to carry with you for the rest of your life. Like my friend Renee, he said, adversity does not build character, it reveals it. Mm-hmm. Right? So how do you build character? You be nice to people, and that's just, it takes practice. So I think that's why people were like that. Fear, herd mentality, sheeple, etc.
No, I agree with you. Fear definitely reveals the true colors of people, right? And it's the fight or flight. Are you going to be a nice human being, or are you going to be out for yourself? Are you truly have your client's best interest, or in this time of uncertainty, are you just going to shove people into properties that may or may not be the best fit for them because you need a paycheck because you overextended yourself? There's going to be a lot of unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of folks that may or may not get divorced or separate or break up or anything else because they realize, oh my God, I don't want to spend time with this other human being, or other people like Gene who doubled down and goes, oh my God, the people I live with are the most incredible human beings on earth. I'm super blessed. There's just a lot of life shifts and life changes. So to wrap this thing up really quickly, I want to quickly, ask each one of you guys a question. And the question is this: if you were 6 weeks in the past, right, and you were the only person who knew that was going to be, this was going to be coming down the pipe, what would you have done 6 weeks ago to prepare for where you are right now? Robert, we'll start with you first.
Gosh, I don't want to say that I knew this was coming down the pike, but I thought that it was 6 weeks ago. So I think 2 months ago, I don't know, man. 2 months ago, I started saving my money and paying off debt and thinking, how do I prepare for a difficult time? Because I think it's going to happen. 6 weeks ago, I thought it might come to this because I followed Bill Gates for a long time, and he always talks about, the biggest threat to humanity is not nuclear weapons. It's not all these other things. It's a global pandemic. So when this all started to happen, I thought, this has the ability to get out of hand really quickly and change the dynamic of our culture a lot. So I honestly, for me, it's probably not the best. I'm not the best person to ask because lenders have been slammed. So I've just had my head down. I've been working. I've been literally going to the grocery store and coming back, and that's been my life for the last 4 to 6 weeks. And I mean, it's only been recently that I've tried to really be intentional and kind of look at myself and go, how am I presenting myself outwardly to other people? How am I helping people? I may not be the best person to ask because I've been so busy. It's been a little bit difficult to.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah. Gene, let's ask you that question. If prior to the pandemic, let's say you had a monthly, so we're talking about January, no one had a whiff of this really, what would you have done if you were the one person that knew this was coming? What would you do to alter your business?
I probably would have done a lot of things. I think right now, I don't know. I would have been quicker to the punch on changing the services a little bit. I think I've done some things over the last couple of weeks that surround these circumstances, or at least to kind of counteract these circumstances for a lot of my marketing clients. And I wish I would have done that from day one. If I would have jumped out of the gate and said, hey, these times are changing. Here's what we're going to do to make sure that you're coming out the other end in the right spot after this is done. I think it just took me longer than I expected to really get a handle on the changing dynamic of the marketing world.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So you would have jumped ahead a little bit, kind of what you're saying. Like you would have done more video, what?
Yeah, well, for sure. I think I would have probably gotten better at a plan. So the one thing I can tell you is that this is a time where if you think you don't have enough time to market, there's something going wrong in your business, in your house, because you have time for everything right now. So I would have put together a better plan for people to sit down and say, hey, if you want to do this on your own, these are the things I recommend you do every single day for the next 60 days, and you're going to be good at the end of this. And video is number one on that list.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it is the absolute king right now, and should be king. I mean, guys, the old saying still rings true when they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, I'll ask both of you guys, what is 30 seconds of video worth if a picture is worth 1,000 words? How many words is a 30-second clip?
10 million.
Not quite that big, 1.8 million. But
it's valuable. You're right. Video
it's extreme. You guys should be doing some stuff. You should go get an Osmo, DJI little, Gimbal 3, which I can't tell you how impressed I am with this little contraption. It is unbelievably awesome.
Why? What's it doing for you? What do you like so much about it?
Dude, it can go into story mode. It has stabilization.
What's story mode mean?
They have like different pre-done stories for like Instagram and Facebook that you can shoot them. The camera, you pick which one you want. It will automatically do the twists and turns, put the filters to it, put the music behind it. Wow. Then you can upload it so you can really kind of characterize and have some fun with whatever you're doing. I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I shot. One of them so far. I picked the wrong one. It's for travel, and I shot my lake and my pond out here in my yard. But I mean, it just helps you get like silky smooth video quality when you're walking. It has a time lapse feature on it, so you can put it like a busy intersection. I shot that 2 days ago at a busy intersection in downtown Danville, and I got all the cars whizzing by, so I can put that as B-roll behind some of my other clips. It has the speed up, so when if you're gonna walk across the street from one side to the other, and speed it up. I mean, it just has face tracking capabilities, so I can draw a square on my face and then step back, or I can do hand signals. It will lock on to the first face it sees, and it will track me through crowds, so I can do real moving and shaking, or running and gunning video work. Just put it on a tripod. Put a lavalier on, and now that it's got my face, well, I can go walk fucking 50 feet away or however long, and this thing will track my face as I move, so it'll keep me center framed. It's like having a videographer on a stand.
That's really cool.
What is
awesome. It's called the DJI Mobile 3. Here, Gimbal 3. I'll show you guys.
Osmo. OSMO.
Wow.
Deb Gleason said, "Did you fix the flipping upside down thing?"
I did. Thank you, Deb.
That was hilarious when I saw that happen.
Yeah, I've on the other gimbals, I've used gimbals before and they flip upside down on me too. I'm terrible with those things.
Dude, this thing, I just had to figure it out, right? And so this is the DJI Gimbal 3, guys. If you guys want to take a look at it, share. This is it right here. This is the stand that it comes in. You can get the stand or don't have the stand. I don't have the stand. I have another tripod. But I mean, this thing can shoot landscape or vertical. It's just a really simple, easy way of filming.
And you can use either camera.
Yeah, you can switch back and forth to either camera. Not while filming, you have to pick one while you film. But the silky smooth run on this thing is just, I mean, it gives you butter for fucking videos. And
awesome.
Nice.
For I think 128 out the door, came with a charging thing, this little baggie. That's all you really need. You definitely want to get a tripod if you can to do some time lapse stuff, but it's fucking epic. Like,
and then what do you do? You put it on like there's an app that goes on your phone.
Yeah, there's an app that you download. It will sync up to it, and then it will start doing everything. They have beauty mode on there, so if you want to, let's say you got a sunburn, you want to like mellow out, or you're too white, you want to put a little color in your cheeks, so you can beauty mode it up for yourself. I'm still in the middle of fucking with this thing, but I'll tell you one thing, like for $128 out the door on Amazon, I could not be happier if I tried. Nice. I mean, it's probably the best thing I've shot with. That's what I'm saying. Like for video, this is such an opportunity to double down and really kind of go deep on stuff that maybe you hadn't thought about doing. Like Robert, you and I both live in the Walnut Creek area, right? So
yeah,
go out and, you know, film you've seen those, like the historical walking tours through Walnut Creek. Mm-hmm. Go there, stop by a sign, you know, talk about what happened in the area, get some B-roll of footage or video clips from, you know, what has gone on in the past, and you guys put together a video doing something like on StreamYard or something like that, or have a production team behind those, you know, behind the scenes, do something for like $10 to $15 an hour. I mean, there's no reason not to double down on this stuff. And for these,
totally.
I mean, I have a big old camera. Like, I'm like you, Robert. I got a big old camera. I got lights. I got everything now. Mm-hmm. All I need is this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Osmo, cool. Phone.
Yeah, there's a cool app that I'm using right now called Mixed Cams. Have you guys seen that?
No.
It allows you to use both your front and back camera at the same time and record.
Mixed Cam?
Yeah, Mixed Cam. And you can change, like, you can do half and half on the screen, or you can make one smaller and one bigger. So like if you're doing like a reaction video and you're like filming something that you want people to see a reaction to it, you can. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
What do you use, an iPhone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's available for the Android.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I just said it said Mixed Cam. I'm gonna look it up and go Mixed Cam.
And then Greg, go back. You were talking about, there were two things you were talking about. One, and it was in the same breath. One was TubeBuddy, and the other one was something else. What was the other thing?
Yeah, I was going pretty quick. So TubeBuddy, and then the other one is Keywords Anywhere. That is the other one. And Keywords Anywhere. Here, I'll show you guys. Let me see this right here. So let's look at. I'm just gonna pull this up and go. I'll show you guys what this is. It helps me go out there and search. Share screen. So I went over here and I just typed in the word Danville. Well, you can see here all the different searches. So Danville is searched 18,100 times a month. Danville weather is 12,100. Danville restaurants 6,600. Danville zip code 2,900. You know, as you can see, Danville Costco searched 590 times, Danville Library 2,400, so on and so forth. What it does then, it comes over here and it shows you, like, let's just search this, right? Just Danville. It'll pop that up, but it'll also show me like Danville VA. It'll show me all these different things and how many times they're searched, the cost per click for marketing, and then what your competition is. You want this to be as low as possible. And so when you're looking for SEO, like Zillow searched 16,600,000 times a month. So if you do something on Zillow, you can rank on doing video. But I mean, this is how I'm working on getting my my SEO and searchability up. And it costs
Is that a
$10. Yeah, it's a plugin. It costs $10 for 100,000 keyword searches. So I mean,
And what's the name of it again?
Keywords Anywhere. Keywords everywhere.
Cool.
Make sure I'm not completely leading you guys. Yeah, Keywords Everywhere.
Nice.
And down everywhere. Keywords Everywhere. It's just that it's a plugin. Plug it in, guys. It's super awesome.
Nice.
God, I have so many plugins.
I know.
Me too.
I just downloaded this new app that Robert, you were telling us about. Mixcam. I can't wait to fuck with this thing. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is not only fun, it's also very proactive in today's market. If you want to go out and show a property or do a walk through a property, people can be seeing all sides of it, front and back, real time. So
show me, Greg, before we put it down, show me the icon.
It's this thing.
It's like blue.
There's also
Yeah, blue with like little faces or something. I don't know.
Mixcam.
I don't think I have.
There's also an app that'll prompt you to download called Mixed Captions, and it'll automatically listen to your video and caption it too, which I love because so many people watch videos without the sound on.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wait, what's it called?
Yeah, Mixed Captions. I hate doing captions on video editing. It just drives me nuts. So
yeah, it's a pain. It is a pain.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, I love this. I love this. I'm like, oh, this is great. All these videos, I can just now they can caption it for me. Okay.
Yeah, so you do a walkthrough, you caption the video. I mean, that's cool. That's going to get so much more engagement if you post that.
Oh my God. Mixcam and Mix Captions, two phenomenal places for people to go check shit out. Let's guys, we have run a little bit over, so let's get us the fuck out of here. Mr. Robert Ring, tell everyone a little bit about you, where they can come and hang out with you, and all the other goodness.
Yeah, thanks. You go to robertringteam.com. It's got all my information there. I do home loans. I'm happy to help you or your clients through a refinance or give you guidance about forbearance, etc. I'm also really active in the purchase market. I can help with that. We're a nationwide lender, so anywhere in the country, if you want to use my services, you are welcome to. As you can see on the screen here, I've got 5-star reviews. I have those on Yelp, Zillow, Facebook, and Google. And we have a big team and a wide product array. So you and your clients will be in good hands.
I'm having too much fun with Robert. That's awesome, dude. Robert Ring, the man, the myth, the legend. Don't forget, guys, you got to go take a look at his show on Facebook, The Hops and Houses. Give him some love on that for talking about some stuff. But Evil Bald Ninja,
yeah,
where can we find you?
GeneVolpe.com. Actually, you got the GVI logo up there. GVImedia.com is the agency. GeneVolpe.com is the personal speaking website. And, Gene Volpe anywhere across any kind of social media. I'm pretty easy to see and pretty easy to find. So
that is awesome. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate it. As you guys know, we are Real Estate Uncensored. We have been. We always will be coming and hanging out with you guys. Oh, I can't do it. Damn it. I'm going the wrong way. There I am. Hi.
Nice.
Too much fun with too little time. And there's Gene. You guys want to go check it out? If you guys want to come over and hang out with me on Beers and Calls, generally Monday through Thursday on Facebook and now YouTube Live, where I do live phone calls and I will be drinking a beer. So come hang out with me. We'll like and follow me, guys, and we'll take it from there. If you guys like us, please give us a 5-star review. And we'll take it from there. Gene, I need you to do your job. I need a color for the bow tie.
I'm looking at burnt orange right now.
Burnt orange. I would not have ever guessed that. Okay, there it is, guys. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for hanging out with Robert. Guys, please reach out to Robert for any of your loan services and needs. Again, he is a legend, a G, the gangster of all gangsters of mortgage here in the Bay Area. Go hang out with him. Obviously, I like him. I've had him on several times. And go like and share this. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. It helps us spread the word on who's going to see us. But as always, here's a burnt orange bow tie on this show. And until next time, peace out, ninjas. We go.